the NBA is in shock. Imagine one of the biggest stars in the league, a player who can take you to the Eastern Conference Finals, a true monster in the playoffs, being cast aside by the very team that entrusted him with the responsibility of leading the franchise. What is this? A career twist or the end of an era in Miami? Believe it or not, what seemed like an everlasting love between Jimmy Butler and the Heat might be nearing its end. And the most shocking part, the team that once swore they would never trade him now has plans to part ways as soon as possible. What happened? Is this just another chapter in Butler's career drama, or are we witnessing something much deeper and more controversial? And more importantly, what does this mean for the future of the Miami Heat? One thing Jimmy Butler has never hidden is his ego, and rightfully so. He has always had to fight against everything and everyone from the moment he entered the NBA as the last pick in the draft. With immense but often overlooked talent, he was traded from the Bulls, and in Minnesota, he quickly gained fame by leading the team, but also stirred controversy in the locker room. Arguments, misunderstandings, calling teammates lazy. All of that sparked a sea of criticism. But what does this say about Butler? Is it simply that he cannot accept being treated as ordinary? Was Butler's ego enough to turn the team against him? Or was it a matter of failing to control his intense and competitive personality? And the worst part, what does this reveal about his future with the Miami Heat? The team, which was one of the few franchises where Butler seemed to have found his home, now shows cracks. For those closely following the situation, it feels as though Pat Riley is on the brink of making a drastic decision, placing Jimmy Butler on the trade block. It all started with a simple 7-game suspension, but quickly escalated to something far more serious. And the burning question, has the Heat already lost trust in Butler's ability to take the franchise to the top? Or at the core, is the real problem that Butler refuses to accept his career might be nearing its end with the Heat? For the Miami Heat, the situation is complicated. The question that must be asked is it worth it to keep a player who, despite all his accomplishments, still represents a major unknown for the franchise's future? Pat Riley's recent moves make it clear that the Heat is willing to shake things up. The idea of involving Jimmy Butler in a trade is in the air, but is it worth it? Jimmy still has the power to make key decisions in clutch moments, but does the Heat truly believe he can be the franchise player long-term? And is the team willing to make sacrifices for a player who has shown signs of wear, both physically and psychologically? The conclusion is clear. The Miami Heat is at a crossroads. Keeping Butler could mean sticking with the familiar and the risks of instability, or investing in new pieces, leaving the Butler era behind. Now, the burning question is, could the Celtics, our beloved team, seize this moment and enter the fray, capitalizing on Butler's wear and tear to steal one of the biggest names in the NBA from the competition? Now, the big question, if Miami truly decides to move on without Jimmy Butler, where will he go? Will any team have the courage to take on a player with a staggering $48 million contract, about to turn 35, and with a history of injuries? The answer might surprise you. Let's start with the Warriors. The Golden State franchise, known for its obsession with maintaining a balanced roster, has already dismissed the idea of trading Andrew Wiggins for Butler. The reason? They know that, with his hefty salary and advanced age, Butler could be a risk for a team that is already strong, but also needs to think about the future. For the Warriors, now might not be the ideal time to bring Butler in, as the franchise follows a philosophy of seeking a more balanced transition while maintaining the chemistry of a team that has already won multiple championships. The question lingers. Would Butler, with his intense and demanding style, be the right fit for a team that already has its established stars? On the other hand, the Phoenix Suns, known for their bold and sometimes risky moves, could be an interesting option. However, they face a major challenge. Who, in their right mind, would take on Bradley Beal's contract, which exceeds $50 million per season? The lingering question is it worth it for the Suns to enter into this trade, considering their big ambitions to form a super team? Could Butler's arrival be the turning point for the franchise, or would it be another strategic mistake, like the past seasons when they tried to assemble a star-studded roster but failed to capture the elusive championship? And of course, we have the Houston Rockets, which emerge as one of the most intriguing options. Houston's roster is young, talented, and full of promise, but they lack a marquee player, a true leader, to put them on the radar of serious Western contenders. And here's where Jimmy Butler comes into play. His experience, leadership, and winning mentality could be the deciding factor in making the Houston Rockets a nightmare for any opponent. However, the big lingering question is whether the Houston franchise is willing to pay the price. The trade is risky, no doubt, but the team's young mentality and the lack of a veteran who knows what it takes to win at a high level make Butler appear to be the missing key for this team to become a true contender. And here lies the central dilemma. Will the Houston Rockets, still trying to find their identity in the NBA, gamble everything on a 35-year-old player with a high salary and a history of injuries, but one who can still make a difference when the game is on the line? What's at stake for Jimmy Butler now is far bigger than simple numbers in contracts and trades. His future in the NBA is hanging by a thread, and Miami is just the beginning of a journey that could lead to drastic changes in his career. And what about the Celtics? They have already shown interest in building a respected team to face the best of the Eastern Conference, and Jimmy Butler could be the name capable of taking this team to new heights. Don't underestimate the impact a trade with the Heat could have, as we are in the middle of one of the biggest dramas in the NBA. Now, the only question that remains: what do you think? Will Butler make history with a new franchise or continue burning bridges, falling behind? And more importantly, who is in the race to grab him, as the impact of this trade could be felt throughout the NBA, including the Celtics, who cannot afford to let this chance slip by? What's your take on this? Do you think the Celtics will get their injured players back in time? Or is this the beginning of the end for their title hopes? Let me know in the comments.